There are four main areas that any of us can think about to practice daily to create a foundation for our health and well-being. And they're really simple and they're sort of a bit obvious in a lot of ways, but it's important to practice them daily, to incorporate them daily, and to make them part of your routine so that you don't have to think about it. And yes, it may be that at certain times of year, or when you're on holiday, or when things are different to your usual routine, that you can accommodate that and do things slightly differently. But it is useful to think about these four different areas on a daily basis so that you don't have to kind of second guess yourself and think, am I doing the right things? If you're thinking about these areas daily, that's the start. That's the foundation to maintaining a good practice around your health and well-being. So the four different areas are diet, exercise, mindfulness, and rest. So I think a lot of people will recognize that these are important, but each of them have to be a cornerstone to your routine each day that really will give you the foundation to be able to build from there. And that's not to say that other things aren't important, like, for example, connection is really crucial in terms of people's mental health. But in order to consider what your goals might be, what you want to achieve over time, it's important to think about a foundation of health and well-being. And this is where they lie. So diet is not necessarily about being especially rigid or thinking about following a certain diet. It's more about just paying a bit more attention, thinking more about what the ingredients are that you're using, or if there's certain things that you could cut down on or cut out completely, and just consider that by taking a step back and really thinking overall about your diet over, say, a period of a week, and really look at what you're having on a daily basis and what you're having regularly, which you may be able to cut down on. So really thinking about highly processed foods and foods with lots of additives, trying to go natural where you can. But I think it's important not to get into too much detail about people's diets because everyone is different and everybody has different kind of issues with their diet in all sorts of ways. So it's for you to decide and it's for you to plan. So diet is key. That's something that it's important to think about every day, and you can consider it and you can take control of it as well. Exercise is also crucial, and I know that sometimes people might think it's too much to fit in doing a workout every day or trying to find a way to exercise every day. It's not impossible to move every day, and that's what's important. It isn't just about working out, although I find that important and something that I like to prioritise. It's also about just moving your body, which could be even cooking or cleaning or just moving around, doing things at home. But even things like going for a short walk, you'll know that when you do that, sometimes you just need to get out and it helps you to clear your mind. The psychological effects of movement as well as the physical effects are well documented. So in some form or another, making sure that you move every single day. Then third is being more mindful, practicing mindfulness, being more present, really thinking about how you're spending your time during the day and checking in with yourself and checking in with your surroundings and really thinking more about how you feel in the moment, what you're enjoying, what you might be sort of stuck in and finding difficult. Take some time to just be, whether that is in solitude or if it's just taking some time to sit and have a cup of tea. It's all about making sure that you are checking in with yourself and taking time. That could be meditation as well, and I would recommend meditation, but I also think that it can be difficult to maintain a practice of meditating for 10-20 minutes a day. I admire people who do that, but I recognise that it can be really difficult. So I'd say the starting point is around practicing mindfulness and to meditate when you can. And then fourth, rest, but also sleep as part of that. So I think there's quite often a sort of a hustle culture mentality of, if we're seen to make time for rest, then it's not sort of seen to be sort of socially acceptable. Like, if we stop and we rest, then it's seen to be, or we feel that it might be self-indulgent. But just even in practical terms, if you are focused on trying to be productive or you want to get things done, the only way that you can do that is if you refill your bucket. So every day you will have a certain amount of energy in your bucket, and you will expand that, you'll expel it during the day, and you will use it up. So unless you are thinking about how you take breaks during the day, how you're using your time outside of work or just in the evenings or on the weekends, that's really important to reset and be able to refill. Because if you're not doing that, you've got no opportunity to refill, and you're just going to be running on empty or almost empty, or not fully being your best. So I want to make the distinction too between rest and sleep. So rest is about making sure that you take time to recover, reset, refresh, reflect, all those things that you need to do to process all the things that you've been doing during the day or during the week, and taking time to stop thinking about it too, give yourself a break from thinking about it and just do something completely different. So that's rest. And then sleep is really about being able to prioritize your sleep hygiene and making sure that you're doing all the things within your power to support a restful, refreshing sleep. Because it's quite often, it feels like you're trying to, squeeze in a night's sleep so that then you can get up early, start your day. Maybe you have to get the children ready for school, you've got to get to work. So making sure that you go to sleep at the same time, you go to bed at the same time, and having that routine, it just makes such a difference. Because having enough sleep is crucial to your psychological as well as your physical health, and it makes the difference in terms of how you process the things that you've learned during the day, or your experiences. And you know the difference when you've had a good night's sleep or not, and it's not that easy to always be able to achieve it. So if you can at least try, if you set the intention to go to sleep at the same time, because you can't get up any earlier because then you'll lose more sleep, and you can't get up any later because you've got a routine, you've got to get children to school and get to work. Think about what you can do before you go to bed and how you can make time to start winding down before that and maintain the same time each day. So those are the 4 key areas. If you can focus on those each day, just think about them, how you can approach them, how you can incorporate them into your routine, and start practicing that day by day, week by week, month by month. And before you know it, you've built up progress, and then you've built up a foundation to your health and well-being, which will support all of the other areas. So if you have ambitions or goals or areas that you want to make significant change in your life, you can't do that unless you are well and you have clarity. So you really need to start with, what are the things I can control for me? And they are diet, exercise, mindfulness, and rest. So have a think about that, see what works for you, and if you agree, hit like. and subscribe for more content.